No one wins by chance. No one rises by luck, and no one survives pressure untrained. You either build the mindset before the storm, or you get blown away the moment it starts. Pressure doesn't give you time to get ready. It tests what you've already built. And if you haven't built anything solid, it won't be gentle. So let me ask you, have you trained for the fire you say you want to walk through? Because champions don't show up hoping things work out. They show up trained. They show up prepared. They show up battle-tested because they practiced being strong when it didn't matter, so they'd be ready when it did. You can't wait for life to get hard to start building your strength. That's not how it works. You train before the fire. You train before the fight. If you don't build your mind, the fire will break it. There's no middle ground here. You either train your focus or you lose it. You either train your patience or you explode. You either train your toughness or pressure trains you to quit. Let me be clear. You're always training something. Every time you choose comfort, you're training your brain to avoid. Every time you cut corners, you're training your mind to fold. Every time you back off, you're rehearsing weakness. And when real pressure comes, guess what plays back? The training you've repeated over and over again. See, most people think strength is a personality trait. It's not. It's a muscle. And if you don't work it, it dies. Mental strength is no different. If you don't practice standing firm when it's uncomfortable, you won't stand at all when life gets intense. You need to treat your mindset like a weapon. You clean it, sharpen it, test it, practice using it under stress, because one day you'll be standing in a fire you didn't choose. And the only thing that will keep you standing is the strength you built when no one was watching. So train now. Train your focus to stay locked in when distractions scream. Train your thoughts to stay grounded when fear rises. Train your heart to stay open when the world goes cold. Because if you don't, pressure will teach you the lesson you avoided, and it won't be kind. You want to rise? Train like it. Train like the fight is coming, because it is. Train like the pressure's already here, because it will be. And when it does show up, you won't panic. You'll perform, because you didn't just hope you'd survive the fire, you trained for it. When something cracks under pressure, it's not the pressure's fault, it's the weakness that was already there. And that's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to pay attention to. Because those cracks, they're instructions. They're telling you where to build, where to reinforce, where to grow. Most people see a crack in their mindset and think they've failed. But it's not failure. It's feedback. It's your life pointing a spotlight at the parts that can't hold weight yet. And instead of running from that, you lean into it. If your patience breaks, build more patience. If your focus snaps, strengthen it. If your confidence crumbles, build it brick by brick through small wins. That's what real strength is. Not hiding the cracks, but fixing them before they collapse you. So don't be afraid of what's falling apart. That's how you find what needs rebuilding. It's easy to feel strong when nothing's testing you. When life is calm, your weakness doesn't scream. It whispers. It blends in. It hides behind comfort, routines, and fake progress. But pressure doesn't let you hide. Pressure pulls back the curtain. It shows you what peace allowed you to avoid. And that's where most people lose, because they thought peace meant they were ready. But peace isn't preparation. It's deception. If you don't use it right, if you're not fixing your flaws in the quiet, they'll expose you in the chaos. If you're not training your mind when it's calm, it won't hold when it's on fire. You think you've got time, but pressure doesn't give warnings. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It shows up, and what's unprepared breaks. So don't waste the quiet. Use it. Because once the test begins, it's too late to prepare. You'll either stand or snap, and that's decided long before the pressure hits. Power doesn't show up in the quiet. It's built in the fire. It's built when your world feels like it's falling apart, and you choose to rise anyway. Anyone can stay calm when life is easy. Anyone can talk tough when nothing's pushing back. But monsters, the ones who don't fold, who don't flinch, they're born in the middle of pressure. While others are panicking, they're performing. While others are quitting, they're leveling up. Fire isn't the enemy, it's the forge. It's where strength is built. It's where the weak fall off and the strong break through. You don't become unshakable by hiding from pain. You become unshakable by walking through it again and again until it no longer controls you. So if you're in the fire right now, don't beg to escape it. Use it. Stay in it long enough to become the version of you that doesn't need to explain, doesn't need approval, doesn't need to prove anything, because that version isn't born in silence. It's born in the flames. Panic doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It shows up when you're thrown into pressure you never prepared for. It's not the pressure that causes the chaos. It's the lack of training before it. You can't expect to stay calm in a storm if you've never learned how to stand in the wind. If you've never practiced stillness, you'll shake. If you've never trained focus, you'll freeze. Panic isn't the enemy. It's the result of being unready. The world moves fast. Life hits hard, and it doesn't ask if you've had enough sleep or a good day. When the moment comes, it's too late to practice. You either built the mindset, or you didn't. You either trained your mind to breathe under pressure, or it chokes. You either practice strength, or you fall into fear by default. Pressure doesn't care about your potential. It responds to your preparation. So if you don't want to panic when it matters most, train now. Every choice you make is training something. You might think you're resting, pausing, skipping, or delaying, but you're still training. If you train avoidance, don't be surprised when you run. If you train hesitation, don't be shocked when you freeze. The truth is, there's no neutral. You're either getting sharper or getting duller. You're either building habits that hold you up or ones that let you collapse. The little choices matter. Waking up late, cutting corners, avoiding the hard thing, it stacks up. It becomes who you are. But so do the small wins. Showing up tired. Finishing when it's uncomfortable. Saying no when it's easier to say yes. That trains something too. That builds the version of you who won't break when it counts. So stop asking if you're strong enough. Look at what you're training daily. That's your answer. If you want to be the kind of person who doesn't fold in pressure, stop rehearsing weakness. Every moment you're either practicing power or practicing collapse. Choose wisely. Comfort feels good until it doesn't. It tricks you into thinking you're okay, that you're ready, that you've got this under control. But comfort doesn't build anything. It hides the fact that you're slipping. And when life brings real weight, emotional pain, mental stress, financial pressure, you suddenly realize you haven't built the muscle to hold it. You crumble not because the challenge is too big, but because you never trained for it. Just like skipping workouts weakens your body, skipping discomfort weakens your mind. It robs you of your edge, your sharpness, your ability to carry what others can't. And the truth is, the fight always comes. The test always shows up, and when it does, comfort won't protect you. Strength will, grit will, discipline will. But you can't borrow those on test day. You either built them, or you didn't. You either trained the muscle, or it tears under weight. So use the peaceful days to prepare. Use the easy moments to grow. Because when life hits, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your training. No one is born strong enough to carry it all. No one wakes up with grit already wired in. You build it. You bleed for it. You fail and get back up until it becomes who you are. That unshakable version of you, the one that doesn't break, doesn't beg, doesn't fold. That person gets built in the fire. Not in the silence. Not in the comfort. But in the chaos. In the middle of the mess, when it would be easier to quit and you choose to keep going. That's where the monster is made. And the people who walk through that heat, they're not superhuman. They're just the ones who stayed when others ran. The ones who did one more rep, one more try, one more hour, when no one was watching. So if you think someone else is more gifted, more lucky, more ready, that's not the truth. They just walked through fire longer. And that fire trained them, burned off the weakness, carved out the strength. And when they came out, they didn't come out the same. So don't avoid the fire. That chaos you fear, that's your gym. That's where you sharpen the version of you that wins when everything's on the line. Step into it. Let it change you. Or watch someone else rise while you stay soft. Quitting rarely shows up with a big crash. It doesn't storm in and announce itself. It whispers. It sneaks in through small decisions. One missed task, one delayed goal, one I'll do it later, and then another, and another, until suddenly quitting doesn't feel like quitting anymore. It feels normal. It becomes part of your routine. That's the danger. How quiet it is. How easily it blends into your day. Most people don't lose their fire all at once. They lose it one quiet compromise at a time. The skipped reps, the avoided conversations, the promises to self that never get kept. And the worst part, it adds up. The pattern gets stronger. The excuses start to sound real. The goals start to feel too far, until you're not just quitting actions. You're quitting on yourself. That's why you have to watch the small stuff, the quiet choices, because quitting doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just waits for you to stop noticing. Your mind is always listening. Every decision you make tells it something. Skip a hard task and your mind hears. We run when it's hard. Push through the pain and your mind hears. We finish anyway. The brain doesn't care about your reasons. It cares about your habits, and what you repeat becomes who you are. So ask yourself, are you training your mind to rise, or are you training it to hide? Every time you flinch, it takes note. Every time you push through, it stores that too. Your brain is like a fire. Feed it heat, and it grows. Feed it weakness, and it fades. And once that fire starts fading, it takes even more work to bring it back. So protect it. Fuel it. Keep it lit. Don't let little defeats pile up, because repetition is power, and your brain will follow whatever path you walk most often. Show it strength. Show it grit. Show it fire. You don't need more chances. You need better habits. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting it. Building walls made of excuses, because that's what they are. Every excuse you give yourself is another brick, another reason not to try. Another delay stacked on top of yesterday's delay, until you've boxed yourself in so deep, you can't even see the goal anymore. But here's the truth. You don't have to build walls. You can build weapons. Every moment of discipline is a strike. Every act of effort is a swing. Every push when it hurts is a tool in your hand. You can either wall yourself off from the life you want, or you can break through what's stopping you, but not both. You don't get both. This is a construction site. Your choices are building something every day. So step back and look. Are you building a prison, or are you building power? Domination doesn't come from talent. It comes from training, from the daily unglamorous grind that no one sees, from showing up when you don't feel ready, from doing it tired, sore, stressed, and unsure. You do it anyway, and then you do it again. That's how you build the muscle. Not just physical, but mental. You keep going until it becomes normal. Until showing up isn't a maybe. It's what you do. Until quitting doesn't even cross your mind. Because grit has taken its place. This isn't about luck. This is about repetition, discipline, choices stacked like bricks, building something solid. The people who win didn't skip the pain. They just learned how to use it. And every time they refused to quit, they got stronger. So will you. You don't need to be louder. You need to be harder to stop. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a reflex that says, I keep going, no matter what, because that's what domination is. It's not a title. It's a habit, a daily decision, a muscle that grows every time you say, I don't stop. You're gonna feel things. Fear, doubt, frustration. That's normal. That's human. But just because emotions show up doesn't mean they get to drive. Emotions are signals, not commands. They're alerts, not orders. You don't have to obey them. You don't have to follow them. You don't even have to agree with them. You just need to recognize them for what they are. Information, and then decide what to do with that information. That's where the power is. That's where growth lives. You can hear fear and still move forward. You can feel tired and still keep going. Because emotional control isn't about feeling nothing. It's about feeling everything and still choosing your path. Your emotions can ride in the car, but they don't get to touch the wheel. Strength doesn't always feel strong. Sometimes it feels shaky, scared, unsure. But strength is showing up anyway. That's what separates those who move from those who freeze. The ones who wait to feel ready never start. The ones who rise, they understand that emotion isn't the barrier. It's part of the road. You can feel weak and still act strong. You can doubt yourself and still do the work. Every strong person you admire, they didn't wait for the fear to go away. They walked into it. They did the job with trembling hands, and over time they realized something powerful. Courage doesn't erase fear, it just refuses to follow it. So if you feel unsure, tired, scared, you're not broken, you're becoming. Keep moving, even if you're shaking while you do it. Your mind needs a leader. If it doesn't have one, emotions will gladly take control, and they won't lead you forward. They'll lead you off a cliff. Think about it. Anger makes decisions you regret. Fear keeps you frozen. Doubt talks you out of the life you were meant to build. If you don't take control, your emotions will build the life for you, and you won't like what they choose. This is why mental discipline isn't optional. You have to train your thinking the same way you'd train your body. You have to tell your mind what matters, what the mission is, where you're going, and you have to do it often. You can't let emotions make the first move, because once they start leading, it's hard to take the wheel back. You need to practice focus, practice calm, practice choosing the next right action instead of the loudest feeling, because your emotions don't care about your future, but your discipline does. You're going to wake up some days and not feel it. You're going to want to stop, stay in bed, take the easy road. That's life. But what separates the ones who rise from the ones who fade? Purpose. A reason that's louder than the noise inside. A mission that doesn't change when your feelings do. Because moods come and go. They rise and fall. But your goal, that stays. That has to stay. Your purpose needs to scream louder than your fear. Your dream needs to shout louder than your doubt. The moment you let your mood take over, you start drifting. But when your mission is loud, when your reason is solid, it pulls you back. It anchors you. It drives you when nothing else can. So when it gets hard, and it will, go back to your why. Go back to the bigger reason. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself who you're doing this for. And let that voice carry you through the storm. Because you weren't built to live based on how you feel. You were built to rise based on what you're here to do. That stuck feeling, that heavy pressure sitting on your chest, it's not the end. Most people misrate it. They think being stuck means they're failing. They think because it's hard, it must not be working. But that couldn't be further from the truth. When you're stuck, when everything feels like it's closing in, that's not a wall. It's a door about to break open. It's the final test before the shift. And the sad part is, most people quit right there, one step away from everything they worked for. They misread the tension as a stop sign instead of a signal to push harder. But not you. You've got to see it differently now. Feeling stuck doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've come too far to go back. It means the old version of you is being stripped away so the real one can rise. And that process, yeah, it hurts. But pain doesn't mean you're off track. It means something better is trying to be born through the pressure. So plant your feet. Don't back up. That weight you feel, it's a sign that you're close. Don't leave now. Let's be real. Quitting feels good in the moment. It's fast. It's easy. You get to breathe. You get to stop hurting. And for a minute it feels like the pressure's gone. But it always comes back. And when it does, it brings something heavier, regret. That's the part no one talks about. The trade. You traded pain for comfort. You traded a future for a feeling. You walked away from the very thing that could have changed your life, just because it didn't feel good right away. But here's the deal. Nothing worth building ever feels easy at the start. Nothing real grows without pressure. That's the cost of greatness. And if you quit, that cost doesn't disappear. It just gets delayed. It follows you. That dream you buried, it stays on your mind. That goal you gave up on, it echoes. And every time life gets hard again, that voice inside gets louder. What if I had just held on a little longer? That's a hard voice to silence. So don't quit for a moment of relief, because that moment can turn into years of wondering. Stay in the pressure. Stay in the fight. You're not just surviving pain. You're earning a future. Choose that. Everybody wants the result, but very few want to pay the price. They want the strength, the peace, the confidence, but not the pain that builds it. And that's the truth most don't want to face. Pressure is the toll booth. If you want to pass through to something better, something higher, you've got to pay, not with money, but with effort, with discomfort, with endurance. No one gets through for free. You can't cheat the process. You can't tiptoe around it. The life you want comes with a cost, and that cost is pressure. It tests your patience. It tests your will. It stretches your limits, and you've got to stand in it, again and again. Because that pressure, it's shaping you. It's teaching you how to hold more, how to focus deeper, how to last longer. And the people who rise, they're not the ones who avoided the pain. They're the ones who walked through it and came out stronger. They paid the toll. They didn't back away. And because they paid it, they earned something others never will. So don't run from pressure. See it for what it is, the cost of becoming more. And if you want more, you have to pay up. When you're in the middle of it, the pain feels like it'll never end. The pressure feels permanent. The doubt starts whispering, maybe this is just your limit. But let me tell you something. Pain isn't forever. The burn fades. The stress lifts. The weight gets lighter. But what lasts? The strength, the mental toughness, the lessons, that stays. Long after the pressure's gone, what it gave you remains. And that's the part most people miss. They quit in the middle of the fight, not realizing the reward was just a little further. Every time you think about stopping, remember this: pressure is short-term, but quitting, that can follow you for years. You'll forget how long the pain lasted, but you won't forget what you walked away from. You won't forget what you could have had if you just held on. So hold on, even when it's loud, even when it's dark, even when it feels like nothing's changing, because something is. You just can't see it yet. The fire might be burning you now, but it's also shaping you. It's burning off the doubt, the fear, the weakness, and what's left. That's the version of you who can carry more, who can stand taller, who won't fold next time. So don't just survive, outlast. Stay long enough to become the person pressure came to create. That's the reward, and it lasts. Comfort has a way of tricking you. It feels like peace, but it's really a trap. You tell yourself you're safe, you're stable, you're fine where you are, but deep down you know you're not growing. Comfort feeds your softness. It steals your edge, and little by little, it starts to cage the part of you that was born to break barriers. That fire inside you, that drive, it didn't die. It just got quiet, silenced by routine, drowned by the easy life. But here's the truth. No one builds power by staying comfortable. You don't unlock your potential by playing it safe. You unlock it by stepping outside the cage, by doing what's hard, by chasing what scares you. And that means you've got a decision to make. Stay in comfort and settle for average, or break the lock and let the beast out. Because you weren't built to stay soft. You were built to break limits. Every painful moment you've lived through had a purpose. Every closed door, every betrayal, every failure, that wasn't just pain, that was pressure. And pressure is not your enemy. It's the ignition key. It doesn't show up to break you. It shows up to build you. The difference is what you do with it. Most people waste it. They complain, collapse, and retreat. But the ones who rise, they use it. They take the pressure and turn it into focus. They take the stress and turn it into strength. They don't avoid the heat. They use it to mold the strongest version of themselves. And that choice, it's in front of you every single day. When pressure comes, you either let it shape you, or you waste it. So stop running from hard. Stop seeing pain as punishment. It's a tool. It's a weapon. It's raw material. Use it to build the life you said you wanted. You've been hiding the real you for too long. You've been quiet, playing nice, holding back, and people got used to that version, the polite one, the one who delays, the one who hesitates. But deep down, you know there's more, a version of you that doesn't explain, doesn't wait, doesn't fold. That version, it's not a dream, it's not a fantasy, it's real. It's just been buried under fear, under comfort, under the noise of what other people expected. But now, it's time. It's time to rise. Time to stop waiting for permission. Time to stop asking for space and start taking it. This is your breakout moment. The moment you stop watering yourself down to make others comfortable. The moment you stop flinching when the pressure hits. Because when the monster inside you wakes up, when the fire finally burns through the cage, you don't go back. You don't shrink again. You move different, think different, speak different. And the world, they'll never be ready for that version of you. But that's the point. You're not here to be ready for them. You're here to show them who you really are, and make sure they never forget it.